first question they're telling us to do here is we need to calculate the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. Okay. So, colleagues, this PB on the demand function, this PB is the price the buyers pay. This PS on the supply function is the money the suppliers receive. Okay. So we need to calculate the equilibrium, price, and quantity. So let's remember, at equilibrium, the money the buyers pay is equal to the money the suppliers receive. Also, at equilibrium, the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied. Okay? The amount of goods that are bought equal to the amount of goods that have been produced, in simple language. Are we all clear with these 2 points here? Any questions? All right. So we equate the two now. QD equals QS. All right. So QD 1000 minus 80P. Notice I've just written P, not PB. Because at equilibrium, PB and PS are the same. So 1000 minus 80P equals 20P. We need to solve for P. So it's just a matter of putting like terms together. So this negative 80P goes over the equal sign and it becomes positive. 80 plus 20P, 100P. To get the value of P, just divide both sides by 100. And our equilibrium price, 1000 divided by 100, is 10 kwacha. Okay? This is our equilibrium price. This is how much the customers are paying for the goods. Do we have any questions here? Are there any questions? Okay. Now you have to calculate the equilibrium quantity. So since you've already got the equilibrium price, okay, you can substitute this 10 kwacha into either the supply function or the demand function. Okay? For this price, which is PB, which also equals PS, is 10 kwacha. So you can substitute it into any function and you have to get the same result. So if we substitute P equals 10 into the supply function or the demand function, what do we get?
So I'm actually getting 200.
200. Okay, what about the others? Are we all getting 200? Substitute this 10 into the supply or demand function. So if I substitute it into the demand function, QD here equals 1000 minus 80. Substitute PB with 10. Times 10, that is 800. 1000 minus 800, you're going to get 200. Okay, colleagues, you're going to get 200. This is the quantity demanded. Remember, since quantity demanded also equals quantity supplied. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, so we now also must know how we can graph this equation, make this graph. Okay, colleagues, you also have to know how to make this graph. It's not always in the questions they'll tell you to make it, but you will see that once you're able to construct it, you'll be able to illustrate points easily. Okay, so this is how you create this graph. Just before I show how to create it, does anyone remember how to create this graph before I create it? Does anybody remember how to make this graph for supply and demand? Okay, it seems quiet. Okay, this is how you make this graph, colleagues. Please remember this. Remember these steps. Okay, so that every time you can make this graph. We're going to start with the demand function. Okay, you put the demand function here. So it's a QD equals 1000 minus 80p. Okay, so we are going to just get the intercepts. Remember, when I say intercept, it just means where does this demand function cut the x and y axis. Okay, where does the line cut the x and y axis? That's what I mean when I say intercept. Okay, where does the line cut the x and y axis? All right. So first, you can equate p to 0. You say, okay, when p equals 0, when the price is 0, how much quantity is going to be demanded? Okay. So you just substitute p equals 0 in your demand function. Okay. Always do this, colleagues. Start with p equals 0. Okay. Find out how much will be demanded. Eighty times 0, that is 0. 1000 minus 0 is 1000. So when the price equals 0, it means you're just dealing with the x-axis here. This is the x-axis, colleagues. X-axis, y-axis there. So when price is 0, it means just come on the x-axis here. You see, quantity demanded will be 1000. So you just mark the 1000 here, 1000 units. Okay, this is our x-intercept. This is where the demand curve is going to cut the x-axis. Are there any questions before I proceed? Okay, then next, we're going to say, okay, what about when QD is 0? When QD equals 0, what will be the price? Okay, when QD equals 0, what will be the price? So you come back to your demand function here. Where there's QD, you're going to put 0. 0 equals 1000 minus 80p. take the negative 80p over the equal sign. You have 80p equals 1000. Divide both sides by 80. What is 1000 divided by 80? 12.5. So here we are going to put on the y-axis when quantity demanded is 0. So it means you're just looking at this vertical line here. The price will be 12.5 kwacha. Okay, so this is your demand function. Okay. Are we okay with this? Any questions? Guess that was making noise. Are there any questions? Questions and queries. This is how you draw your demand function. Okay. Then you go to the supply function. Now the supply function is not going to cut the x-axis. It usually just starts from the top. Okay, so come to the supply function and make space here. Let's see where I can put it. Supply function is QS equals 20p. Okay. QS equals 20p. Right. So you want to see where does it cut this? Where does this supply function cut the y-axis? So you equate QS to 0. Find the value of P. Zero minus 20, that is 0. Alright? So the price is 0. When the quantity supplied is 0, the price is 0. So your supply function will start from the origin here. And then you yes, and then go up like this. Okay. Supply function, demand function. Equilibrium price, 10 kwacha. Equilibrium quantity, 200 units. Are we all clear with this, colleagues? If you have questions, feel free to ask. Okay? Because this is the heart of economics. Once you understand how the mechanics of this graph, you understand, you understood about 70% of this course. So are there any questions? Okay, we got part 2 of this question here. Calculate the consumer and producer surplus. Okay, so colleagues, consumer surplus, this is the benefit or the saving to the consumer. Okay, I've written it here. Consumer surplus, benefit or saving to the consumer. Okay, if you wanted to buy jeans for 200 kwacha and you find the jeans is actually going for 150 kwacha, okay, you wanted to buy for 200. This is how much you are prepared to buy the jeans for, and you find the jean is going for 150 kwacha. The consumer surplus is going to be 50 kwacha. So it's like you saved 50 kwacha. Okay. The official definition, which are going to see in textbooks, the difference. This is the official definition. The difference between what the consumer is willing to pay versus what they actually pay. As you saw in my example there, you are willing to pay 200 kwacha for a jeans, but you actually pay 150 kwacha. So that's difference, 50 kwacha, that is your consumer surplus. Are we okay with this definition, colleagues? Let me start going name by name, because once when the class goes quiet, I also start to worry. Madam Siamajal, are we okay with the definition of consumer surplus? Mr. Divine Procure, are we okay with the definition of consumer surplus?
Yes, very clear, sir.
Madam Esnat, are we clear with the definition of consumer surplus?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Godfrey? Mr. Ibra? Mr. John?
Yes, sir.
Madam Justina?
Yes, sir. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Roy?
Yes, sir, we're okay.
Mr. Stanley?
Loud and clear, sir.
Madam Suzanne? Mr. Twam?
Clear, sir.
Wonderful. Okay. So,
Very clear. Thank you.
the logic behind this, colleagues, here is what we're saying is that if there's no interference from government, and basically government, there's no interference from government in the market, consumer surplus and producer surplus are maximized. That's the theory behind what we're doing here. Because you're going to see when the tax is implemented, price ceilings and price floors, you're going to see how these consumer surplus and producer surplus change. Okay? But if there's no intervention by government in the economy, okay, then consumer and producer surplus is maximized. Then producer surplus, the definition, okay, it is the benefit or extra money to a supplier. The official definition, the difference between what the supplier is willing to sell for and what they actually sell for. So if you're a farmer of I like this maize example. Yes, if you're a farmer of maize and you're willing to supply 100 kg bag of maize seed for 100 kwacha, that's what you're willing to sell it. And you find FRA is buying them at 200 kwacha. 200 kwacha. It means your producer surplus is 100 kwacha. You're getting an extra 100 kwacha. You are willing to sell it for 100, but you've seen now you can sell it for 200. So that 100 kwacha is your producer surplus. I hope we're okay with that definition. This is where now we need to pay close attention, colleagues. Okay, here let's pay close attention in these tabulations. So we need to calculate the consumer surplus and the producer surplus. So I always like to use the graph for this. It makes life easier. And usually you get the most accurate answers when you do this. So this is our demand function here. Our supply function here. Equilibrium price 10 kwacha here. Here we have 12.5. Now, the reason why you use this graph is because you need these values. This 12.5 here and this is 0. Without the graph, it's kind of hard to find these values. Okay? So the consumer surplus is the upper triangle over here. This upper triangle over here. This is the consumer surplus. Okay. So we revisit grade 10 mathematics, because this is under the topic of area. This will get back to grade 10 mathematics. The consumer surplus is just the area of that triangle. This orange triangle. And the producer surplus is the area of this triangle here. This bottom triangle which is in white. So let me even highlight them so that we see where we're at. Producer surplus, which is labeled as PS here, is here. Consumer surplus, which is labeled as CS, is here. So to get your consumer surplus, is the area of this triangle. This formula won't be provided to you. The university assumes that since you cleared mathematics in high school, you remember this. So half B times H. Okay? H, just remember, is the height of the triangle. You want to get the height of this triangle. It's from 10 to 12.5. So the height, is 12.5 minus 10, which gives us 2.5. So the height is 2.5. So the height is 2.5. Then the breadth or the length is this bottom one here. From here to here. I hope we're seeing where I'm indicating. So equilibrium quantity was 200 here. So the breadth is from 0 to 200. So we're going to see the breadth is going to be 200 minus 0, which equals 200. So the consumer surplus half multiplied by B, which is 200, multiplied by H, which is 2.5. Yes, those with calculators, what value do we get here? Hold on a second, I think it must get 125.
It's 250.
250. 250.
Yeah, 250.
200. Okay, so 250 kwacha. It's in monetary terms. Okay, 250 kwacha. Any questions? Any questions? Alright. Producer surplus, same logic. Okay, you're going to say, okay, this white triangle here, the height is from 0 to 10, so you say 10 minus 0. So the height is 10. The breadth is still the same, 200. So you say producer surplus half times B times H equals so half times 200 times this is 10. The producer surplus should be 1,000 kwacha.
Yes, it's 1,000.
So colleagues, this is how you tabulate this using the graph. Any questions before we move to part 3, where we now look at the effect of a tax. Okay, so if government places a tax on the producer, they can also put a tax on the consumers. But if government places a tax on the producers, we're going to see what happens here. So on part 3, if a tax of 5 kwacha is placed, calculate the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. So this is what you need to do. First you rewrite the demand function. Remember the demand function, QD equals 1,000 minus 80 PB. Supply function QS equals 20 PS. Okay. So colleagues, whenever a tax is implemented, so we're going to assume the tax is affecting the supply. It is affecting the supply. Alright. So we're going to say the money the supplier receives, PS. PS is the money that the supplier receives. It's going to be what the buyer pays, PB, minus the tax. Okay. The price the buyer pays minus the tax. That's the money that the supplier is receiving. What the buyers pay minus the tax. Now government has come in now into the equation. So they have added the tax. So this is the first thing you need to do, colleagues. Okay. Make PS equal PB minus T. The tax is 5 kwacha, so PS equals PB minus 5 kwacha. PB minus 5 kwacha. Okay. So step 1 equate PS equals PB minus T. This is step 1. Okay. PS equals PB minus T. Step 2 adjust the supply function. Okay. Step 2 I'll put it in green. Adjust the supply function. What I mean adjust the supply function. Remember our supply function was QS equals 20. So PS was substituting it with PB minus 5. Okay. So 20 times PB, we get 20 PB. 20 times negative 5, that's negative 100. So it's 20 PB minus 100. Okay, this is our new supply function for this. Any questions so far?
Do you have to find the value of PP or just PVP?
We're going to find the value of PB. That's the next step. That's the next step. Okay. So you are a prophet, sir. Okay. You are a prophet, sir. You've prophesied the next step. It was Mr. Ho?
John.
Yes, Mr. John. That is the next step. We're getting the value of PB. So step 3, which is just like the way we were doing it earlier on, how we're getting equilibrium quantity and demand. Okay, step 3 equate QS and QD. Step 3 equate QS or QD equals QS. So QD remember 1000 minus 80 PB equals 20 PB minus 100. So colleagues, let's solve for PB. What is our value of PB?
PB will be 11.
11, yes. 11 quads. So are we all getting 11? Are we all getting 11?
No, sir.
No. Take the negative 80 over to the right, and this negative 100 over to the left. you're going to get 80 PB plus 20 PB. 1000 plus 100, you get 1100 equals 80 plus 20, that is 100 PB.
No, sir.
PB.
No, sir.
Huh?
This 20.
Huh?
This 20, right? 20 PB. It's positive, right? When you close the equal sign, it becomes negative. So you're going to get 80 PB minus 20 PB. You give me
Sir, this is what I'm doing, sir. This negative 80 PB is the one which I've taken over the equal side. The 20 PB stays here.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So get the value of PB.
It's 11.
So the price the buyers are paying is 11 kwacha. Any questions? Any questions? So once you get PB, step 4, get PS now. PB, PS is a PB minus 5. PB is 11, so 11 minus 5, that is 6 kwacha. So this is how much the suppliers are receiving, 6 kwacha. PS equals 6 kwacha. So now we can get the new equilibrium quantity. So there are two ways you can do this. If you are using the demand function, use PB equals 11. You are using the demand function. If you use the supply function, okay. If you are using the adjusted supply function, you still stay with this PB because but if you use the original supply function, which was this one here, 20 PS, you're going to use PS equals 6. Okay. So let's get our new quantity. So we'll say step 5, get the quantity. So if we use the supply function, you're going to say Q S equals 20 PS equals 6 kwacha. So they're going to say 20 times PS, which is 6. 20 times 6.
1 point.
120. If you use the demand function, QD equals 1000. Kindly mute your mic. PB equals 11 kwacha. So it's 1000 minus 80 times 11. 80 times 11 is 1000 minus 880, you get 120. So I'm just proving here. In the exam, you just choose either. You don't have to do both. You don't have to do both. You just choose the one you want to work with. If it's the supply function, you work with the supply function. If it's the demand function, you can work with both. But both will give you the same answer. Are there any questions? Okay, so now we have to show this on the graph, the supply demand graph. So we're going to start again like this. So we do it like this. Demand function here. So colleagues, when government implements this tax, which curve do you think is going to shift? Is it the demand curve or the supply curve? This is where you need to now remember the shifters of each. So which curve is going to shift? The supply or the demand curve?
The supply curve, I think so.
Supply curve, yes. Just remember shifters of supply, anything that causes cost of production to become higher. Okay. Yes. So that tax which government put, the cost of production won't necessarily become higher, but there the profits get eroded for the supply. So this is how you're going to show this shift. Where the equilibrium price is. Remember this 10 quarter? That's where you start. I'm going to put it like this. Okay. We're going to have a shift in the supply curve. Okay. So this new point here, this new equilibrium point. This is the 11 kwacha the buyers are paying. Okay. The 11 kwacha the buyers are paying here was 12.5. Then you draw a dotted line like this here. Where this dotted line touches the supply curve, you take it back to the y-axis. This is the 6 kwacha suppliers are receiving. Okay. 11 kwacha which the buyers pay, 6 kwacha what the suppliers receive. And to confirm this, remember 11 minus 6 gives you 5 kwacha. So this is representing the tax here. Okay. Let me shade this box here. This box I'm putting in blue. This represents the tax here. quartz attacks. Alright. And then one more thing. This dotted line, after it passes the supply curve, it's going to come here. Remember the new equilibrium quantity is 120 units here. Okay. 120 units. Okay. So before I proceed, any questions? Any questions, queries? Okay. So consumer surplus is now this little triangle here. This is our consumer surplus. This small triangle here, CS. Producer surplus. This small triangle here.
So is it really necessary to show these solutions in the graph?
No, on your rough workings. The graph on your rough workings. If you can show them properly.
I'm saying even in the exam room, is it really necessary to do all this graph? You know, maybe you can just find solutions and you end there.
When you're finding just the solutions like that, determining these numbers here, these ones, especially on the y-axis, you're going to have a difficult.
Alright.
You will have some difficulties, yes. So this you can put it as your rough work, but then you just be showing your workings there. But if you want to even impress your lecturer, you put this graph here so that they say, okay, the student knew what they're doing here. But minus this graph, you're going to have a lot of difficulties, as you're going to see, especially when we're calculating these consumer producer surplus, where you have to get this breadth, this height. Yeah, it's now going to get confusing there. Then this green triangle is what we call dead weight loss. This is what could have been produced, but it hasn't been produced. It's been lost out. Okay. Dead weight loss. The quantity of the goods that could have been produced, but they haven't been produced. Okay. Due to this tax being enacted, so the supplier wasn't able to produce some extra goods because the cost of production have increased. So that green triangle there is your dead weight loss. So what they'll usually ask consumer surplus, the same process. You say consumer surplus half times B times H. Okay, so we come to this triangle here. This small triangle. You're going to say 12.5 minus 11. That gives you 1.5. the breadth here at the bottom from 0 to 120. So you're going to say 120 minus 0 gives you 120. So you're going to say equals half times the breadth, which is 120, and then the height 1.5. So half of 120, that is 60. 60 times 1.5, what do we get, colleagues?
We are getting 40. 40, sir. 60 times 1. Oh, sorry.
60 times 1.5.
Then 6.
We are getting 90.
90. This is the consumer surplus. It has reduced because of this tax that has been implemented here. Because remember before the tax, colleagues, the consumer was paying 10 kwacha and the supplier was receiving 10 kwacha. Now a tax has come in. The consumer is paying 11 kwacha and the supplier is receiving 6 kwacha. Supplier is receiving less money. So since they're receiving less money, they'll produce less. That's why we're having this deadweight loss here, because the supplier is receiving less money. According to the law of supply, the price of the good goes down. You also want to reduce your output. Why? Because if you maintain the high output at a low price, and you've got labor costs especially, you find you'll be operating at a loss. So you need to lay off workers, and you produce less, so that the price that you're selling at, you can still remain profitable. So because of this tax, the supplier is producing less. And it brings in the deadweight loss. This was what the goods that could have been produced, but they haven't been produced. Okay, colleagues, the goods that could have been produced, there was no any intervention in the market. Goods that could have been produced, but they haven't been produced. So it's like a loss now. It's like a loss now. Producer surplus, same thing. You're going to come to the triangle here. What is the height of the triangle? You're going to say 6 minus 0. Gives you 6. The breadth is 120. So you're going to say half multiplied by B times H. You're going to get half multiplied by 60 times 120. What do we get? Not 6. 6, not 66. 6. So half of 360.
You're getting a 360.
Yes. Okay. So this is the new consumer surplus and new producer surplus. Any questions before we calculate the tax revenue that is received by government? So the tax revenue that is received by government, tax revenue, you get the area of this blue box here. Okay, the tax revenue. Okay, so remember area of the rectangle b times h, right? So we already have our h, our height. We said 11 minus 6 gives you 5 kwacha, which is the tax that has been implemented. Okay. Then the bread is 0 to 120, that is 120. So you're going to say 5 times 120 kwacha.
That's 600.
600 kwacha. So this is the tax revenue the government has got. Okay. Any questions before now we tabulate the dead weight loss?
Sorry, sir. I'm really lost on the tax revenue. Please kindly come through again. For now, you were able to find it.
Have you seen this blue box here?
Yes, sir.
The height of the blue box, you're just going to say 11 minus 6 kwacha. That gives you 5 kwacha. Okay. Which is the tax which is being charged, 5 kwacha tax. Then the length of the blue box, you come in here at the bottom, it says from 0 to 120. So it's 120 units long. That's the bread. So the tax revenue, the area of the box, b times h. I'll put it here, h times b, yes. Then the dead weight loss, area of this green triangle. So from 120 to 200, we're going to find the height. So 200 minus 120, we're going to get 80. That is the height. The height of this triangle. Okay. Then the base of the triangle, from 11 to 6, that's 5 units. So the base of the triangle is 5 units. I hope you are seeing how I'm getting the base of the triangle. It's just the same as the height of the blue rectangle. That's the same figure I'm using. So the dead weight loss, half times b times h. So we're going to say half times 120. This is half times 80 times 5. So half of 80, that is 40. 40 times 5, 200. Okay. That is the dead weight loss.
Come again, please.
I was getting the area of this green triangle here. The height from 120 to 200, you just subtracted, it was 8. So the height is 8. In the base of this triangle, from 11 to 6 is 5 units. So that's how you deal with taxes.